So if any of you would know 10-year-old me, you'll probably know that I was obsessed by pre-1960s aviation history. It was my life when I was a kid. If I wasn't building Lego, I was building Airfix models or just reading about any sort of history about any sort of aircraft that was, you know, roughly before 1960s. The main thing that really interested me about the aircraft before then were their designs. The thing is about all of these aircraft is they were bolted together by pretty much your grandma's aluminium teapot and a rivet gun. My obsession got pretty serious and it kind of made me want to delve into a career of restoring aircraft and signing up for an apprenticeship program like a museum and learning how to do that and spend my life basically restoring aircraft. That was the dream until like guitars kind of took over, which is, it's a bit sad if you think about it. But yeah, that obsession with vintage aeronautics never really left me. And then an opportunity came around to own something like this, and yeah, I sort of jumped at the chance. So this is an R1155. It's a radio receiver, most likely built by Marconi in, you know, the mid 1930s to 1950s. There's no real way of telling. There is a serial number, but I can't find any information on it. But you never know, you might see it. The serial number is 93531. If you know anything about it, please tell me about this lovely machine. This one is the L version, which means it is aluminium. The aluminium meaning this one was probably made for an aircraft. You could get steel versions which are a lot heavier, and these were made for the ground. These radio receivers were in a heck of a lot of aircraft, including the Avro Lancaster, the Handley Halifax, the de Havilland Mosquito, a lot of these things. And you would probably recognise this and its transmitter counterpart, the T1154, which has got these bright blue and yellow and red knobs on them. You might recognise them from Airfix kits of like de Havilland Mosquitos or Lancasters or something like that. So no doubt this probably has quite a bit of history. So basically most of these aircraft got scrapped and a lot of the parts sort of got pilfered, and there are actually a lot of these radio receivers still about because a lot of them were modified for, you know, personal use as your home radio basically. And this one is no exception. It has been modified to be somebody's personal radio at some point. As you can see here, it has a speaker out which wasn't there before, as well as a rather ropey homemade power supply. Yeah, this homemade power supply wasn't with the original radio. The original radio, I guess, had a power supply that was hooked directly up to the aircraft power supply, so it probably wasn't suited to plugging into your kitchen mains voltage and stuff. So this is a very ropey looking power supply indeed. Yeah, it's bulky as heck. So I'll put the power supply here. And this power supply, very ropey, actually plugs into the original input port right here. Like so, and simply just plugs into, you know, your plug on the wall. So this one, I've been looking around for a good deal on these things for quite a while, and I found it on eBay. I think I paid about £200 for this. I know, but I've been hunting for a long time. I've owned it for about a year now. Initially, I was actually going to build it in a video. I was going to build it into my car, but it just, times changed, and, you know, obviously we're in lockdown now, so I can't, it just doesn't seem right to do that. It also came with a rather ropey looking speaker that's got a little red light on it. I'm not sure what that is for, but we're going to use this just to test it now. So I'm just gonna whack it out, plug this in right here. Yeah, how cool is that? So yeah, looking closely at this, it has a large amount of controls. Some of them are now not working. Somebody at some point has modified it to the point where some of these do not sadly work anymore, as they're probably pointless and not needed anymore. And I'm not really up on the radio thing. I just know that it's damn cool. You've got multiple radio bands that you can tune into. There is the volume control, obviously. You've got a meter balance. You can actually turn off or on the heterodyne filter, which is pretty cool. It's got a magic eye, which is rather temperamental. I haven't dared open this up yet. Well, I have opened it up, but I haven't dared delve in and fix it. I think I fixed about one capacitor and stopped and decided not to, and just leave it as it is and worry about it when maybe I'm a little bit better at fixing these sort of things. It's got a number of different controls over here, which I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know what they are for. There is one that has been removed and a BNC connector plugged in for the antenna. This wouldn't have been there originally. The antenna, I'm guessing, originally would have come out of this same connector that connects into here and connected into the antenna that was probably on top of the aircraft. What we're going to do now is I'm going to turn it on and we're going to hear some beautiful white noise because there's no antenna plugged into it. Right, let's do this. Just got to let it warm up. There are a lot of valves in here. It was working a couple of weeks ago. Fingers crossed. Wait, hey, here we go. Well, I think I'm going to plug in a long cable, the longest cable that I have, into the BNC connector, kind of get it going out there and try and make some sort of long antenna, I think. Let's try that. This should be a good enough antenna. So now I've plugged in a cable that is tied to the gutter outside. Hopefully there's some sort of signal, I don't know. Oh, is there something there? There should be. That's where it's picked up. Oh dear, it seems that in the cave I can't seem to get a stronger signal. So right now we're currently in the living room. Basically I didn't have much luck actually getting any signal in the cave. I actually wired up the antenna to a metal gutter out the back, but that didn't seem to be doing anything. It wasn't even registering. I think it wasn't really metal. Maybe it was only a little bit that I thought was metal, but I wasn't getting anything. So what I've done now is I've come to the living room. I've got a jack cable going out of the window and it's actually taped to the metal fence out the front, which is actually acting like an alright antenna. I'm getting a reasonable signal. By reasonable, you'll see that it isn't by any means a decent signal, but it gives us an idea of, you know, its functions. So let's quickly just have a little bit of a twisty. Okay. Oh.
It's a big business. But of course, many individuals are investing in the stock.
That's American.
They have lost some of their wealth as a result. For example, for an ordinary person that has you would lose some money as a result of that. And with this,
I'm using the heterodyne oscillator. I'm not a radio enthusiast kind of person and I do not have a clue what these things are actually used for, but I think the heterodyne oscillator, it kind of zeroes in, sort of like how a theremin works, on clean signals. You can hear it. Let's flick up a waveband. Maybe that's 5G. Sounds like a space sheep.
Stay inside, alright? We need to get through this.
Nice. Nothing. Oh. Oh, that's funky. Damn, that is cool. Like, you're literally just going through wavebands, kind of just having a look around, and I can kind of see the excitement that you would get from being, you know, looking through radio bands and stuff on ham radios and stuff. So now we are back in the cave, and yeah, I've got this plugged up, and I've actually managed to stretch the antenna cable all the way from the front with the conductive fence that is acting as an antenna. All of the converters that I have, because I haven't just got any long wire nightmare here. Oh no, I've just used a load of converters and I've even gone to banana jacks at the end of this just to extend it all, and I've plugged it up into here and it seems to work. And if you listen carefully, I think right now there is a little bit of Savage Garden in the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to plug it through this voltage controlled amplifier. I'm just going to wire it in. So I'm going to get the input, plug it in. Is it going to reach? Oh no, literally just doesn't reach. One sec. Oh no, I've run out of cables as well. So if I turn up this VCA, you get that. However, if I plug in a voltage to turn the VCA up without me even touching it, so I'm going to plug this voltage into the BeatStep Pro, which is down here. The BeatStep Pro, which is down here, so when I push on this button. So, okay, you cannot get the finest signal in the cave, and really annoyingly, there's a really good, quite a strong signal on this radio over in my other place. But what you're going to do, let's just quickly play a beat with this, make the most with what we've got right now, but like, as you can hear. Now there's different lengths of all the beats. So as you can see in this cave with limited signal, it's basically just a big hefty white noise generator. Needless to say, you can actually do this with any old radio, and not to mention the radio modules that are actually out. I have got one somewhere by B Faker, which is actually Bifaco's Faker. It's very strange. There's a sticker that's basically the Bifaco logo but with B Faker, and it's basically just an FM radio module, and I think ADAC do one as well. There are a number of them where you can actually CV the frequency band, so that might be of interest. But yeah, I've been meaning to do a video on this specific radio ever since I bought it about a year ago. Like I mentioned, I was going to build it into my car, and yeah, that kind of didn't really come to fruition. So this is just a little chat about it. It is an amazing piece of equipment, and it's an amazing piece of history, and it should be conserved, and I'm glad that I have an opportunity to own one. I'm actually putting a load of audio from this radio over on my Patreon, so if you want some weird going in and out of like some distant radio waves, well, definitely check it out and download it over there. And there's also a live stream coming up this week, as well as frequent vlogs over there. Yeah, I've been Look Mum No Computer. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't be scared to try it. Maybe not this. It's maybe use a better radio for this one. Anyway, peace.